Hi, welcome back. Our video services will only do 15 minutes at a time. So we're continuing with the equation 349 plus 382. If you have not watched part 1, you're going to want to watch that first. And we were just at the end of a strategy called totals below. The student represented each number by their hundreds, their tens, and their ones, and then they totaled the entire amount below each column. The last step would be to put like units together. So 600 plus 100 would be 700, 20 plus 10 would be 30, and 0 plus 1 would be the 1. So again, giving you the 731. Lots of different strategies, all for the same problem. Students just need to do whatever makes the most sense for them. All right, moving into subtraction, which can be trickier for most students. So we are going to look at two strategies that both tend to be successful for students, depending on which they prefer. There are other strategies besides just these two, but I will tell you these are the two that students consistently are the most successful with. So I'm only going to show those two today. All right, looking at our first equation, it'll focus. We have 682, and we need to take away 436. Okay, one way we can obviously do this is by drawing place value, and I'll show that one first here. We are going to write it in the traditional form, so in vertical form, lining up our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. But before students begin subtracting, I have them draw the units. The reason being, they still are not understanding in this abstract format which direction they are subtracting. So often you will find students will just take 2 away from 6 when that is not what this equation is asking them to do. They don't understand when they don't have enough. So having a picture representation can help them immensely. The other thing we discuss when we are drawing a picture representation is that in subtraction, this is the whole amount, and you are taking something away from this whole amount. That means that I only draw this whole amount, and then I begin to take away from that picture rather than draw this additional amount because I don't have anything additional. I have 6 hundredths. I have 8 tens. I have 2 ones. Ones, tens, we start again, smallest unit, which is our ones place. We ask ourselves, looking at this picture, do I have enough to take 6 away? Clearly, I do not. They have learned that they have to rename and unbundle one of their neighbors. So they go to their richer neighbor, as we say in school. We ask them if they could borrow some. And then they turn them from 110 into 10, counting by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's very important that they understand this is no longer here. This is where marking a standard algorithm is very important. We call it renaming. This is no longer 2. I have much more than 2 now. I have 10 and 2, which makes 12. So we mark out the 2 and we rename him above there to represent what he actually has. We talk about how important before they subtract. We also rename this amount. We no longer have 8. We now only have 7. One of the biggest mistakes students make when they are using just standard algorithm with subtraction, when they need to borrow, they get very confused about what they are doing up here. This again gives them a visual representation to show exactly why these numbers are changing up here. Now that we have enough, we can subtract those amounts. I can take away 6, so I have 5, and 6 go away, which leaves me with 5, 6 remaining. Some students prefer to write it here. You could write it here as well, depending on how you're doing it. I need to take away 3 tens. 1, 2, 3, leaves me with 4 remaining tens. 7 minus 3 is, of course, 4. 12 minus 6 is, of course, 6. Another way to check their work. The final, I take away 4 from my hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, which leaves me with 200. Okay, so for this first answer, we would have 246. Okay. The additional strategy that sometimes students find easier is finding the difference between these two numbers. Here is your total amount. Here is part of that amount. But this amount is the distance between those two numbers, or how much is missing between those two numbers. So we can take, the smallest number, and we can add up until we make it to the larger number. And that would be the exact same difference as we found here. So let me show you an example. If I'm at 436 and I wanted to get to an even 440, I would need to add 4 more. 436 plus 4 more would get me to 440. If I'm at 440 and I want to get to an even 500, I would need to add 60 more. If I'm at 500 and I wanted to get to an even 600, I would need to add 100 more. And if I'm at 600 and I wanted to get to 682, I would have to add 82 more. The final step is all of these small pieces make up this other part, or this difference. I have to put these pieces together. I had 100 plus 82 plus 60 plus 4. Okay, I could add my place value. 80 plus 60 would give me 140. 2 plus 4 would give me 6. And then I still have 100 over here. Finally, putting all of that together, 100 plus 140 plus 6, I have 246. Same answer because I'm finding the difference between those two amounts. Okay? On the last one, we are going to use our place value strategy with standard algorithm just to keep this ball rolling. We have 508. We are taking away 239. We are going to draw the place value. Hundreds, tens, ones. Again, I only need this total amount, then I X out or take away this other amount. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. I have nothing in the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to take away 239. I begin in the smallest place value or with the smallest unit. I do not have enough to take 9 away. But when I go here, this place value also has nothing that I can borrow. That means this place value has to go next door and borrow first. I need to borrow 100 and move him to become tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I represent what has happened. I now have 4. I now have 10. Then I look back to here and I have enough next door to loan this one a group of 10. I X that out. I give him 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This no longer has 10. I have to rename it again. He is now 9. And this no longer has 8. It has 18. 18, and I take 9 of those away, is going to leave me with 9. 9, and I take 3 away, is going to leave me with 6. 4, and I take 2 away, is going to leave me with 2. 269. All right. Hopefully that is helpful for completing numbers 2 and 3 as well. Even though this box is on the front side of the equation, it does not change the operation that you are doing. You are subtracting and you are adding. So practice with your student at home, adding and subtracting using some of these strategies. The final story problem on the test is a doozy. It is a multi-step word problem that involves both finding a difference and adding 3-digit numbers. So this problem says post offices sell stamps and postcards. One post office sold 109 more stamps than postcards. I need to make a note. Stamps was more. Postcards are less. This is going to be important. And we're about to be out of time on this video, so I'm going to stop it here and we'll continue this story problem in part 3.